Daily Broadside, day 457. I find myself currently in Walpole, Massachusetts, and I got a couple things to say about the journey that brought me here today. First of all, I left Portland this morning fairly early. I don't know, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. It was about 10:30 or whatever. For a state that's so proud and renowned of all their lighthouses, y'all ain't got dick on North Carolina. Our lighthouses go like to the top of the sky, okay? And if we don't like where they're at, we pick those bastards up and we drag them like hundreds of yards inland in massive logistical nightmare problems for engineers to figure out. Y'all got these little baby dick things that you don't even get to go up into. I waited like an extra 45 minutes to pay $2 to go into the port of headlight or whatever. The lady looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, I'd like tickets to go up in the thing. She's like, it's owned by the naval people and they don't let you go up in it except on September 9th. And I'm like, well, guess where I won't be on September 9th? Such a waste of time. I mean, it's pretty and all, and I love the batteries. The batteries are so cool, man. Where you store like caches of ammo and all. But I gotta tell you, when I got to Portland, or before I got to Portland, this is what I had pictured for Portland, Maine, right? I figured nothing in Maine was big at all. Bangor, Portland, Portsmouth, is that Maine or New Hampshire? I think it's New Hampshire. Anyway, all those cities, right? If you've ever seen Popeye with Robin Williams, the live action one from like the early 80s with Shelley Duvall and Robin Williams, which is not a bad film, for what it was. And a little known fact, if I recall, the village that they filmed that in is still like I think they built that set somewhere in, why do I have like the Ivory Coast of Africa in my head? But that's probably not right. Anyway, wherever it is, it's still there and you can go and visit it and all the stuff is in place like it was in the movie. So if you're like a really obscure movie fan and you like the live action Popeye from the 80s, you can go to that village and probably find an Airbnb by now. But anyway, that's what I had pictured for Portland. I pictured it was like a little fishing village, and I show up and it's spread out all over the place. I think it was like 68 square miles or something. And don't get me wrong, the food was phenomenal. But I'm gonna tell you what you really don't get people from out of town to enjoy is nickel diamond them on parking everywhere you go. I went to a park, like a state park, and they got these little parking computers, little kiosks that you got to sign up for every 5 seconds. Man, screw y'all, okay? If y'all need $2 an hour that bad, then, up your tax base. I mean, that's ridiculous, You're already charging ridiculous rates for everything anyway. I don't care to pay for parking. And toll roads are the same way. I've already paid my taxes. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Even if I'm not from that state. Like, let's let the visitors pass through for free because I pay the taxes in North Carolina. Anyway, I leave there. I go back through New Hampshire. And again, I had to go through a piece of New Hampshire to get down towards Boston. And again, New Hampshire, it rained all the way through New Hampshire, just showing once again that there's nothing in New Hampshire worth seeing, right? And all that. So then we get down to, and here's the other thing I've found is that, and I've seen this my whole life because I got relatives in Jersey. So I've been to Jersey a million times. I've been to Philly, that kind of stuff. And y'all are just, I don't want to make a blanket statement, but comparatively speaking to the South, y'all are kind of assholes. I don't know why, because your life is more fast paced. I don't get it. I don't understand what makes y'all so mad and all. But then I drove in Boston. All right. First of all, before I got to Boston, I'm in Peabody, I think, which is outside of Salem. And Salem, y'all can have that dumb witch town. I'm fascinated by the architecture in all these little Boston cities because it's like I'm watching like The Fighter or The Departed or Three Brothers. What are all those movies where everything's in like Southie? All these houses that are all crammed together and they're all 3 or 4 stories. They all got little 3-sided windows jutting out on all the floors. Everything's the same. It's so weird. It's like you're riding through a movie set all your life. But anyway, I'm in Peabody. I'm backing out of a liquor store parking lot. I have the right of way. There's nothing coming. I'm backing out. I got my window rolled down and some jackleg comes rolling through like a clown dick moron. And they're like, and so I have to like hit the brakes. And so I'm like, and I pull right out of my ass. I pull, I pull out like Dustin Hoffman from like Midnight Cowboy, except I'm like, I'm driving here, except I said something else, right? because I'm a very demonstrative person when it comes to, people that I feel have wronged me. I'm not afraid to get out of the car. We'll get out and we'll talk about it, whatever. Well, the funny part was I'm supposed to be the civil, Southern gentleman, I do declare. And y'all are supposed to be like the northern assholes. But this dude's getting out of his car, and I didn't realize anybody heard me. And he's just got like the typical, he's just like what I would envision somebody from Boston looking like, right, or that area. Sleeveless shirt, the tattoo on the shoulder, the rings, the necklace, and all that stuff. And he starts like taking my side. And he's looking at the car. He's like, the hell, like he was backing out basically. He takes my side, and then he looks at me. He's like, I see him look at my plate, and then he looks at me. So I was like, for a moment, I was accepted as one of them. I guess, I'll park the car. I don't talk like that, but here's the other thing. I went into a Walgreens to grab something, and golly, y'all's accents are thick. Anyway, so now I find myself in Walpole. I just won a couple rounds of music trivia in a sports bar next to the hotel. So I don't care where you're from, bring it, because this thing right here is ready for some trivia. It's a sharp and honed knife, I got to tell you. If it's one of my skills in life, it's trivia. Music trivia. When I saw that, I was like, another round. We'll be here for a little while. But otherwise, heading down to Providence, Rhode Island tomorrow. I got a couple things I got to do, and I'll tell you more about what we did today tomorrow, because I don't have time. Giddy.